Don't be a doormat. How many times have you been in a relationship or in any situation where you were afraid to speak up and say what you felt or what you thought because you were afraid of how the other person was going to react? I think that's everybody on the planet has been in that situation at least once. There are probably a handful of people who are just like, I don't care what anyone thinks. I'm saying what I'm saying. And if you're at that level of, I want to say self-assuredness, or just the ability to not really care what anyone thinks, then bravo, that's where you should be. But for everyone else who has an issue speaking up when they're feeling something, you have to step out of your comfort zone and realize that the only way to get what you want out of life and to get to where you need to be is to be able to speak what's on your mind. Now, that doesn't mean to just kind of vomit everything that comes out of your head, because look, all thoughts are not necessarily valid thoughts. Some of them are just silly and ridiculous. But I'm talking about that inner truth that you feel deep down inside, in your guts. That thing that kind of just, you just know it needs to be said, whether it's preventing something from happening, whether it's saying, hey, you know what, I could really use some space right now, or hey, I just want to go for Chinese tonight instead of for sushi or for, Italian food. It doesn't matter what it is. You have to get comfortable enough to speak your truth. There is no reason to hold back because of fear. This is amplified so much more when it has to do with raising a child. I know so many people, I've been in situations where, there's something going on and I just don't want to offend someone and it's not a big deal, so you just don't say anything. That's not the right way to go necessarily. If it's something dietary or it has to do with, whatever it is with your children, we are very much all about not forcing our son to hug or kiss anyone if he doesn't want to. You want a high five? Great. Because we want to give him autonomy, right? And so if someone comes in and they're like, oh, can I have a hug? Hey, dude, do you want to hug that person? No? Great, don't. And I don't care if that person's offended. I've come to that point now where it's irrelevant, because what matters to me is how my son is feeling and not how that other person is feeling, right? Because he has to be comfortable within himself. And so that's a level of speaking truth that it took me a little while to get to, but now I don't care. I don't care, okay? At the end of the day, you have to be able to speak what's on your mind. If it's super important to you, you have to be able to speak up about it. You cannot hold that stuff in, because there's a few things that happen when you don't speak your truth. One, you start to build resentment towards the person that you're not speaking up about or to. So here's an example. Say, let's say your in-laws like to spoil your kids with candy and sugar, and that's the same thing, and they keep them up till all hours of the night, and you have a very strict bedtime and a very, healthy diet where it's, instead of sugar or candy, it's fruit. But every time your kid goes over to the in-laws, they're just bouncing off the walls and completely exhausted because they've been eating nothing but sugar and going to bed super late. Now, some people might say, it's the grandparents, they're allowed to spoil the kid. But, I don't necessarily believe in that. The child needs to have the right nutrition and the right rest. And so there's two schools of thought. Hey, just hold it in, don't say anything, grandparents will be grandparents. Or, hey, guys, look, we love you spending time with our child. He loves or she loves spending time with you too. We have some ground rules. They need to be in bed at this time, and no sugar, right? You got to speak up, because if you don't and you hold it in, then you start to resent those grandparents or the in-laws or whatever it is. Your child gets the wrong care, which is not a good thing. And then at the end of the day, you're also teaching your child, hey, you know what? Mixed messages. Here's what we do here, and then that's what we do there, and then they overhear you complaining about it, but why aren't you saying something? So it's so much better to just speak up, speak your truth when you're feeling it. Don't be a doormat. There's no reason to do that. The only reason we do that is out of fear of not being accepted, or fear of offending someone, or fear of causing an issue, or fear of confrontation. Look, if it's super not important and it's not a big deal, then fine. Maybe you don't want to necessarily speak up, but you got to get comfortable speaking your truth if you're ever going to succeed at anything in life. My 2 cents for today. If you like what I'm talking about, go ahead and hit that like button. You can subscribe over here. Follow me on Instagram at @TheAdamKruger. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.